Hi, my name is Emily Hackett, and today I'm going to talk to you about my project, the prosthetic hand with orthotic support. A little bit about the relevance of partial hand amputations. Currently, about 2 million people in the US are affected by partial hand amputations, and about 2.4 million more are affected in developing nations. Of all upper extremity amputations, less than half actually use a prosthetic device. This is alarming because prosthetics have been shown to increase mental and physical well-being, as well as decrease phantom limb pain in many cases. A lot of the reasons why people don't use a prosthetic as often as they should often start with the surgical complications. There are many different things that can go wrong during surgery to prohibit a person's mobility. Therefore, they're required to do about 6 months of physical therapy and then be reevaluated for more surgery, followed by more physical therapy. It can take over a year or so for a person to get fitted with a prosthetic for the first time. There are also many complications with receiving a hand prosthetic itself. What most people think of when they think of the current state of prosthetics is a highly complex robotic arm that works seamlessly like a human arm. These prosthetics are oftentimes too heavy to be functional for everyday use and are so costly that insurances do not cover them as they're seen as an unnecessary expense. The most highly functional and useful prosthetic right now is the hook hand that is featured on the slide. Many people are set up with the expectation that they're going to receive the robotic hand and then get the hook instead and are devastated and no longer want to receive their prosthetic. Only 36% of surgeons admitted to knowing what the current state of prosthetics is like. Therefore, many surgeons are setting up the expectation that they're going to receive the robotic hand when that is completely unrealistic. Prosthetic hands are also very personalized to the individual, as there's so many different ways that an amputation can occur and a prosthetic will need to be built. The purpose of this project is to inspire hope in amputees, to allow them to have more options in the field, to help them heal better, and to improve their quality of life. I aim to increase prosthetic use to increase their mental and physical well-being. And I want to decrease the rehabilitation time so people don't have to continually keep going through the cycle of surgery and physical therapy. The requirements of this project are to be affordable, to be accessible to the maximum amount of people, increase the degrees of freedom, which involve how far back your finger can move to when you open your hand, and how tightly they can close into a fist, to give the person the maximum amount of mobility in their intact appendages. And finally, I wanted the prosthetic to be light so people can use it for their everyday life. The solution I came up with to achieve this is to employ 3D printing to keep the cost low and to keep the prosthetic lightweight, as well as combining it with applications currently used in physical therapy, such as splinting systems, to help stretch the finger and create healing and exercise in the fingers even when outside of physical therapy. Stretching of the fingers outside of physical therapy is very important and will promote the healing, as it promotes the tendons to grow back stronger fibers to increase its strength. By increasing its strength, it increases the flexibility and mobility of the fingers. Furthermore, by stretching the tendon outside of physical therapy, one unconsciously flexes their fingers more in an effort to try to keep them at their normal resting, relaxed pace. This extra mobility helps exercise the fingers and also acts as strength training. This is the prosthetic hand design. There's fishing line tied in here that feeds into tensioning pieces. So when you flex your wrist forward, it pulls on the fingers and closing them into a grip. When you relax the fingers, they prop back up automatically due to elastic cords here causing tension to pull them back up. The splinting system here works very similarly. So you have foam cushion here to not damage the scar tissue. It causes a soft padding because scar tissue is very fragile. And it velcros around the finger very tightly to form compression, which mimics a massaging technique that physical therapists use to further soften and break down scar tissue. Then the elastic cord back here props the fingers up to create tension in the fingers and cause stretching automatically in the tendons. It's light enough that you can still close your hand when you're trying to grab things, but there is enough tension and force that it will prop your fingers up to be permanently stretching. The elastic cord back here is adjustable, so a physical therapist can loosen or tighten it as a patient needs. After developing the prosthetic, the design requirements were met. The cost per unit turned out to be $64.45. The weight is approximately half a kilogram, and we're able to employ splinting mechanism to the prosthetic as seen previously. This allows the stretching of the fingers and compression to help massage the scar tissue and break it down. The broader implications of this project is that it addresses the current challenges that are being faced in the rehabilitation process. The rehabilitation process is the most overlooked part of the healing journey for a patient. When thinking of better ways to help amputees, the majority of the community looks at either better surgical techniques or better prosthetics to help them in their day-to-day life. What isn't being addressed enough is the healing process and how to improve the rehabilitation. According to my research, there are currently no prosthetic options that combine physical therapy techniques to increase the rehabilitation while also helping achieve more mobility in their daily life. This project acts as a first step in addressing these challenges and create more options for amputees to get access to the medical care that they need to improve their physical and mental well-being. Thank you all very much for your time, and I look forward to seeing all of you on the Q&A on Friday.